Hey guys, welcome to another Unity 5 tutorial today, and this is going to be something that's showing you how to create a smooth flashlight for maybe a horror game or something like that. And you can see in my example here that when I start, you can see that my flashlight on the floor, and you can see when I move, it's not instant. It doesn't turn exactly like it's parented to your camera. There's a little bit of sway, and you can adjust the speed to show how slow or fast you want something to move. So I'll just give you the basics of creating a basic flashlight and creating that sort of smooth functionality, which is just slightly offset from the camera's movement. So what is beneficial to use here is that all I have is the standard assets, and I've got a first person controller. You can import that from the asset store, or you can right click, import package, and choose characters. I have also got the effects which come with a series of light cookies, and these are just the things that put an alpha sort of mask over the light, which give it a look of a different thing, as if you would expect from an actual flashlight itself. So once you've got that, we've got the scenes pretty much set up as you would expect. Nothing fancy really going on at all. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my main character here, and what we're going to do is we're going to create our actual flashlight here. So we can do is go game object, and we can go light, and we can choose a spotlight, and you can see a spotlight is as you would expect a flashlight to be. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my flashlight, and I'm just going to set its rotation to 0, so it's actually pointing straight ahead. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roughly move it in front of where my main camera roughly would be. And you can see it there. What we can do to test it is attach it or parent it to our main camera. And you can see that when I move it, you can see it there. And you can see that it's parented, and yeah, that might be good for what you want, but you know, you maybe want to make a little bit more make it a little bit more interesting. What we can do is increase the spot angle. You can either increase the spot angle over on this side, or pull the little sort of bounding box so you can make it nice and big. And like I said, you can choose on this side, the light can choose to have a cookie. So if you've got those standard assets installed, you can choose a light cookie. So if we type in cookie, and we type in, I don't know, you can choose one of these, you can choose flashlight irregular cookie. And when we press play, you know, you'll get that sort of masked effect on the light, which might look quite cool for your game. This is all well and good, but we need to actually be able to offset this light based on the parent that we've got. We're going to right click our camera and click create empty. And what that's going to mean is that's then going to be parented to our camera, but what we're going to do is we're going to unparent it from our main camera. And it's in exactly the same place as our camera right now. We need it to be in that place, because that's what our script's going to do. So what we do is we can then parent our flashlight to our empty game object that we've got. We can then right click on our project panel and choose C#, and we can call this offset flashlight. We'll open up in Visual Studio, and we can start by writing the script that we need to do. So we need 3 variables, so we'll need a private vector3, we'll call this vect offset with a semicolon. Then I'll have another private variable and call that game object and call it go follow with a semicolon. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a square bracket serialize field, and we're going to have float speed and set that equal to 0.3f just for the sake of this. Oh, and I need to make that private, even though that doesn't really matter, but just keep it consistent. Then what we'll do is write void start, 2 brackets, then 2 curly brackets below, and we're going to start by writing what we're going to need to, be able to follow. So we're going to have go follow is equal to camera with a capital dot main dot game object. So this is automatically going to find our main camera that we want to use, and then we'll use vect offset, set that equal to transform with a lowercase dot position minus the go follow dot transform dot position. So what this means is that we're going to get an offset position. So we're going to get the position of this base, and then we're going to minus the actual position of the main camera that we've currently got. So that's all well and good for the things that we need to store. We need to say now choose void update, because we're going to update our flashlight in real time, so it actually does the offset movement. So then we need to say transform dot position equals go follow dot transform dot position plus the vect offset with a semicolon. So it's just going to transform the position of the flashlight that we've got, or the light that we've got in our scene, based on the position of the camera at any one time plus the offset that we just calculated. Then we're going to do the same for the rotation, so we're going to say transform dot rotation equals quaternion dot slurp, and quaternions are used for rotations in specifics, and the slurp is just to help us go between two values, usually a starting position and an ending, just so we can have a smooth sort of movement. So then we'll say in brackets transform dot rotation comma go follow dot transform dot rotation comma the speed times by time dot delta time, and then we'll have a semicolon at the end. So like I said, it's going to transform the position of our current light based on a rotation amount, and we're going to smoothly rotate move between the current position to the position of where the camera's now moved to, based on the speed times by the time dot delta time, which just allows us to do the smooth movement. So we'll minimize that. So what we'll do is we can click on our spotlight that we've got, add our offset script. What I'll do is I'll just change this speed to 8 to make it seem more apparent. And then what we can do is we can press play, and we can look down at the floor, and you can see that when I'm moving my mouse now, it'll be slightly offset the value. You can increase or decrease the value we've got. So if I knock that back down to 3 and we press play, you'll see that when I move my camera, it'll take a little bit to catch up, but you want a speedy enough value to sort of warrant actually using it. So this is just pretty much, you need to make sure that you've got an empty game object which is the same position of your camera at any one time, but don't actually parent it, just let it sort of be by itself. So even if I move, the actual flashlight still comes with me. So that's pretty much the basis to creating your own offset sort of smooth looking flashlight. So hopefully this helped you create something cool for whether it's your horror game, adventure game. So thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Cheers.